I got so nervous this morning, and then I was thinking, yeah, even if I say the wrong thing on the stage, I'm not gonna be executed. I know. And that was quite comforting to me. Because until 2007, when I was 13, that was my reality. Saying the wrong thing could execute me. I know, it's hard to imagine now. It's so much social media, we can say anything that we want. But as a young girl, the first thing I learned from my mother was not to even whisper, because the birds and mice can hear me. That's the country I lived in. I did not know that. I was isolated because we didn't have internet. And there's no way I could go up and see what was fact. And no one can escape, or no one can leave, and no one can come in.
So I saw a video of this young girl from North Korea called Yeonmi Park. And she managed to escape when she was about 13 years old, but it wasn't easy. And she basically was talking about how she never knew the concept of expressing oneself, of saying, I like, when she got to South Korea, when she finally managed to get to South Korea for the first time, that's when she experienced that sense of freedom of expression. She could see people around the street saying, I like this, or I don't like that, or what a great TV show, or dressing the way they wanted, speaking the way they wanted. And for her, that freedom of expression was amazing, incredible. Because when she was young, her mother would tell her, hey, you can't even whisper, because the rats are gonna hear you, and they might tell somebody, or they thought that the ruler could read their minds, and they could never dissent, they could never go against the ruler, because if that was discovered, or they did something they weren't supposed to, like watch TV, they could be either sent to prison or killed, or the family could be killed. So she never knew freedom, and she says people there don't know freedom of expression, and she was amazed. And now here she is, right? She's living in the US now, and she's using that freedom of speech to speak up against the practices in North Korea. So don't take your freedom of speech for granted. I think that's the big lesson, and that's a reminder for us that we have this freedom of speech. We have the ability to speak up, to say what we like, what we don't like, and to disagree, and nothing really bad is gonna happen to us. Of course, we need to have a little bit of judgment here and there, but it's not like it's a forbidden thing. We have that right, and sometimes we forget that we have that right, and we forget to use this right that we have, which is to speak up, and that in reality not everyone has, as this lady reminds us of. So I hope this reminds you a little bit about this freedom that you have. I'll link below the videos to some of the interviews of this young woman if you're interested, and I'll see you next week.